in panic mode. And on End Bad Governance in Nigeria protest, Kwakwanso decries 10 million naira bail for detained minors. On 2027 polls, election will be between APC and Nigeria, Makinde says. We are open for advert placements, bookings, and commercials. You can connect with us on all our ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, and on Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. We're going on a short break. When we come back, we'll delve right into the show. Do not go.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
On this place, economic stability and confidence. The content is at corporate critical belief of this minister and the government.
The people of access to our money will be in charge.
I've always said there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which I
no matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
The people of Maiduguri need your help. A catastrophic flood has engulfed the city, leaving over 1 million residents stranded and fighting for survival. Entire communities are submerged, with people trapped inside homes and on rooftops cut off from food, clean drinking water, and essential supplies. Health experts are warning of a potential outbreak of deadly diseases, and medical facilities are out of commission. The situation is dire. Helicopters, boats, and high-riding trucks capable of navigating the treacherous, waterlogged areas are urgently required to reach the countless men, women, and children still awaiting rescue. The Nigerian media is issuing a desperate plea to the government, humanitarian organizations, international actors, and citizens across the nation. Step in now, before it's too late. For more information on how you can help, contact Professor Usman A. Tar, the Honorable Commissioner for Information and Internal Security, Borno State, on 0809-233-3955. Every second counts.
This is powered by Atlantic Television Network.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
on this place, economic stability and confidence. The content is at corporate critical belief of this minister and the government.
The people of access to our money will be in charge.
I've always said there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which I
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the government.
people of Maiduguri need your help. A catastrophic flood has engulfed the city, leaving over 1 million residents stranded and fighting for survival. Entire communities are submerged, with people trapped inside homes and on rooftops cut off from food, clean drinking water and essential supplies. Health experts are warning of a potential outbreak of deadly diseases, and medical facilities are out of commission. The situation is dire. Helicopters, boats and high-riding trucks capable of navigating the treacherous, waterlogged areas are urgently required to reach the countless men, women and children still awaiting rescue. The Nigerian media is issuing a desperate plea to the government, humanitarian organizations, international actors and citizens across the nation. Step in now, before it's too late. For more information on how you can help, contact Professor Usman A. Tar, the Honorable Commissioner for Information and Internal Security, Borno State, on 0809-233-3955. Every second counts.
This is powered by Atlantic Television Network.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act, I propose to be left to leave of this minister and the prophet.
Because access to our money will come in time. I've always said there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites, which I am.
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act, I propose to be left to leave of this minister and the prophet.
Because access to our money will come in time. I've always said there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites, which I am.
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Joining me on Open Air this morning is George Azunda Chinda, a political analyst and a regular on Open Conversation and Open Air. Good morning, George, and welcome.
Good morning, Chairman.
How was your weekend?
Thank God, very well.
All right. Anyway, you look well rested today. And on to the
Thanks for the
story.
compliment.
And on to the story. All Progressive Congress in Rivers State has asked the Federal High Court in Abuja to restrain the Federation Account Allocation Committee two others and their agents from allocating or distributing any revenue from the Federation account to any of the local government areas, councils of Rivers State or within Rivers State until a valid local government council election has been conducted by the sixth defendants to democratically elect local government councils for Rivers State. Also sought to be restrained in that regard are the Accountant General of the Federation and the Minister of Finance for the Federal Government of Nigeria, who are listed as the first, second, and third in a fresh suit filed by the APC. The plaintiff in the suit marked FHC/ABJ/CV/1556/2024 is contending that in view of the recent decisions of the Supreme Court in suit number XC/CV/343/2024, Attorney General of the Federation versus Attorney General of Abia State and others, and the Federal High Court suit number FHC/ABJ/CS/987/2024, funds could no longer be released to local government areas in Rivers State because no valid election has been conducted in the state. Listed as defendants in the suit are the Federation Account Allocation Committee, the Accountant General of the Federation, the Minister of Finance for the Federal Government of Nigeria, the Attorney General of the Federation, and the Attorney General of Rivers State and the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission. The party also wants an order of injunction restraining the government of Rivers State and their servants, agents, hirelings, or proxies from distributing to, expending, or utilizing any public fund of Rivers State for the use of or the benefit of any of the local government council of Rivers State until the governor of Rivers State have been able to conduct valid election to democratically elect local government councils for Rivers State. The APC is equally praying for a declaration that the government of the Rivers State and the six defendants, having failed to ensure the existence of and to put in place a system of local government by democratically elected local government councils in Rivers State, by conducting a valid democratic election for local government councils in Rivers State, that is, for the election of chairmen and councillors for the local government councils of Rivers State, the first, second, third, and fourth defendants representing the government of the Federation are not entitled to and cannot allocate or distribute any revenue from the Federation account to any of the local government areas or councils of Rivers State until a valid election to democratically elect local government councils for Rivers State has been conducted by the government of Rivers State, represented by the fifth and sixth defendants. In a supporting affidavit deposed by Tony Okocha, the plaintiff said, by the recent decision of the Supreme Court suit number XC/CV/343/2024, the Apex Court firmly held and declared in respect of distribution of revenue from the Federation account, among others, that the amount distributed to and standing to the credit of local government councils in the Federation to only democratically elected local government councils. The APC said its suit challenged the process hurriedly being put into place by the Attorney General of Rivers State and RISEC for the purpose of holding local government council elections for Rivers State. It stated that in the said suit, the plaintiff premised their challenge of the process on a number of grounds, including the ground that the processes being put in place for the holding of the proposed election, which was fixed for the 5th day of October 2024, was in contravention of the provisions of items 11 and 12 of Part 2 of the second schedule of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as well as applicable provisions of the Electoral Act 2022, in that requisite statutory notices were not given and provisions in respect of update of voters register were not complied with. It stated that the election held in contravention of the Constitution, the Electoral Act, and the subsisting judgment of a competent court of law is invalid. The party added that the local government councils of Rivers State have not been democratically elected to qualify them to receive allocations from or distribution of revenue from the Federation account. Judge, that was an extensive read, and there was need to bring out all these prayers, all these concerns, and whatever arguments that the Tony Okocha faction of the APC is, building their agitation and prayers upon. In view of these developments, what do you make of this entire story? Considering also that there is a recent Federal High Court judgment barring the CBN from paying state allocations to Rivers State. What do you make of this development in Rivers State at this point?
Okay, thank you very much for that. I must say that Nigeria is a democratic state. We are not in a state of nature where the rule of might prevails over the rule of law. So I must thank Chief Tony Okocha for not resorting to self-help and approaching the court to do the needful. Because I understand that before that purported election held, there were court orders that was not adhered to by the
court judgment.
Huh?
Court judgment.
Yeah, court judgment, not an order. That was not adhered to by the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission and even the government. So they hurriedly went ahead to conduct, an election that was against the law. So I must thank Chief Tony Okocha for not resorting to self-help. He has gone to the court for the court to look into the matter to see if actually those who are claiming to be elected local government chairman today, if actually the election, passes through the law. So what he has done is something that every right-thinking person should applaud him. It is for the court. The judiciary is an arm of government, and their responsibility is to interpret the Constitution, the law. So let them look into the matter and see if actually those who are standing there today as local government elected officials are meant to receive allocation on behalf of the people, the local government. We must let the law is not emotional. Let nobody look at Chief Tony Okocha as being a cog in the wheel of progress. No, what he is doing is to ensure that the rule of law prevails over the rule of might. So for me, I thank him so much for taking the bull by the horn and asking the court to interpret what the position of the law is. So it's a good one.
Now, to a large extent, this move by Tony Okocha to pray the court to stop FAC allocation, federal allocation from getting to the local government, might be met with a lot of, well, if I may rephrase, people might consider it as controversial, considering the outcry, in the outcry that is. Now, that is on one hand. Now, on the second one, the judge barred INEC from releasing voter register to RISEC. But then the RISEC chairman said he has the voter register, though not legally given to by INEC, because INEC said that RISEC had applied for the voter register and they were still in the process of, legalizing all that, and the court judgment came, so they didn't release the voter register, which means what the INEC chairman had may be a voter register, but it's not a working document because it's not backed up.
It was not dated on probably the
now,
last one.
when you look at all these issues, isn't there a way around it? Because RISEC is saying that they are empowered by the law, local government law. There is a state law that empowers RISEC to conduct elections for local government. Is it not at the discretion of RISEC to conduct elections?
Yeah, it is at the discretion of RISEC to conduct the Rivers State local government election, subject to having the voter register. RISEC as a body, election management body, did not have their own register, voter register. I am over 18. I have participated in different circles of election in Rivers State and the national level. I have never seen any day that RISEC called for, registering eligible voters. They have always relied on the updated register from INEC as the law provides. So, since it is the law that RISEC would depend on INEC to, grant them updated voter register, they, like you said, they have applied. They were in the process before this court judgment came, meaning that INEC never released. So RISEC has even had gone against the law to have, from wherever, gotten what, vote for that election. So obviously, RISEC did not comply with the provisions of the law. You are empowered to conduct election, know that, subject to you being presented with updated voter register, and only INEC, no other institution have that voter register, only INEC. So obviously the question is, where did they get the voter register that they used in conducting the election?
But when you talk about updated voter register, the argument would be that RISEC chairman says that he has the 2023 voter register.
That is not permissible.
Hold on, recall that that register was updated by INEC for the presidential and Guba election.
You had 2023 voter register because you do not want to follow the law. That's the reason for this. There were people who were even up to 18 as at the last time they voted.
And outside the Supreme Court judgment, a grace was given, even though the federal government is coming out to say there was no moratorium. But then there was a grace given for a period of 3 months for states to go back and conduct local government elections. And the governor's argument was that this is a time-sensitive process that must be done. It's time-sensitive. You can't take that away. That is time-sensitive. And if at the end of October these elections are not conducted by the states that are defaulting, the local governments may not receive allocations.
So what happened to the state that just conducted Abia State?
Now, let's look at it from another perspective, shall we? Okay. One of the prayers that Tony Okocha went to court for was that RISEC did not follow due process, did not act according to the electoral law, which means that they did not announce, they did not update that register before announcing the date. Now, the electoral law provides 90 days. The voter register must be updated 90 days before it is announced.
Correct.
Yes. Now, if and the court said that bad security agencies from participating in the local government elections barred INEC from releasing voter register to RISEC until RISEC goes back and do the right thing. The court did not actually stop the local government election. He just said RISEC go back and do the right thing. Now, let's look at doing the right thing in the eyes of the law now. It means that RISEC would have to get the voter register, which has been barred already, the updated one, the revised one, and then this before the expiration of
the tenure of the last the outgone local government chairman. You understand? Even at the peace park they had at the villa, which was brokered by the president, one of the discussions there, one of the items there was conduct local government election as at when due. You are in government, RISEC as an institution is there. Because this tenure is almost coming to an end, they would have written to the governor. It's now for the governor to fund them to ensure that they begin to roll out all the things they're supposed to do. But the man, for whatever selfish reasons, refused. So it was what prompted Tony Okocha to go to court.
There is also another perspective probably Rivers people are not considering and probably you've not thought about.
Okay.
But I feel it's expedient to also bring that because invariably this local government election is linked to the budget, the controversial Rivers State budget. And a federal high court judge 22nd of January, Justice Omotosho, annulled the presentation of the budget to Edison Ehe. And the Federal High Court upheld the judgment of the Federal High Court. And the appeal court also ordered, just like the Federal High Court did, ordered the governor to present the budget to Martin Samihule. And the appeal court in their ruling also said that all the expenditures, everything that the governor has done without appropriation is invalid, is null and void. Now, part of the things that was done from that budget or from Rivers money, from the allocation, is conducting local government elections. Now, that is a perspective that I'm sure you've not thought about. And that's a perspective that I'm sure many people have not, even probably Kocha himself has not thought about. Because if you look at it critically, where did the governor source the funds for these local government elections? The funds was gotten from a budget that the court says was not, that the budget is even not known to the law. So Rivers State has been operating without a budget, and the court judgment says, the appeal court said, everything done by the governor so far with Rivers State funds is illegal. By that singular ruling, do you think the local government elections, even if probably the respondents are able to argue their way out of this from the angle of Tonio Kocha's prayers, Justice Peter Lifo's judgments, do you think they will be able to wrangle themselves out of this?
Let me tell you. I think that is the reason why it appears that there is a fire on the mountain. It is not just only the local government election that was conducted with, the money that was not appropriated for. Everything, including road projects, including different projects that have been ongoing, those things are illegal. So what the implication of that is that the governor has committed an impeachable offense.
No, apart from the impeachable offense,
that also will affect the local government. Yeah, that will also will affect the local. If at the end of the, like you said, if they were able to manage and wriggle themselves out of, what Tony Okocha has gone to court, yeah. If at the end of the day the Supreme Court rules on the matter, affirming what the appeal court and the High Court, lower court has already done by saying that all appropriation, all these expenses of government, we are null and void because they were not appropriated for. What that means is that it will affect, including the local government election that was conducted with money that was not appropriated for. It's as simple as that. That is law, and it has no emotion. It's law and it's fact. See, the challenge is that we have a man who has refused to, see reasons why he should not be acting the way he's acting. He's a governor. He should have the best of legal minds that will help him to interpret the positions of the law. Unfortunately, I believe even without being, a lawyer, he understands some of these things. But because of the ego, because he wants to appear to be on top of the situation, because he wants to be seen as someone who has killed, a Goliath and things like that. So yeah. That is making him to act arbitrarily against the law. It's an unfortunate situation. If you listen to some of the wordings used by the appeal court judges, you
and confidence to condemn this act and corporate critical needs of this minister and the public.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank.
As always said, there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites, which I
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the company. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
will place economic stability and confidence to condemn this act and corporate critical needs of this minister and the public.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank.
As always said, there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites, which I
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the company. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
will place economic stability and confidence to condemn this act and corporate critical needs of this minister and the public.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank.
As always said, there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites, which I
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the company. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
will place economic stability and confidence to condemn this act and corporate critical needs of this minister and the public.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank.
As always said, there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites, which I
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the company. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
will place economic stability and confidence to condemn this act and corporate critical needs of this minister and the public.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank.
As always said, there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites, which I
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the company. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
will place economic stability and confidence to condemn this act and corporate critical needs of this minister and the public.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank.
As always said, there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites, which I
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the company. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
will place economic stability and confidence to condemn this act and corporate critical needs of this minister and the public.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank.
As always said, there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites, which I
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the company.
to condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister and the
I've always said there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites, which I
no matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister and the
I've always said there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites, which I
no matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
Come back and thank you for staying with us. Chairperson of the Independent Electoral Commission, Mahmood Yakubu, said on Friday that the conflicting court judgments on the ongoing crisis at the Rivers State House of Assembly has left the commission confused. Speaking at a stakeholders meeting with media executives at INEC headquarters in Abuja, Mr. Yakubu said the confusion has forced the commission to be silent amid calls for intervention. The power tussle between the Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara and the former governor Nyesom Wike has thrown the State Assembly into crisis. The Rivers State Assembly currently has two factions, one loyal to Mr. Fubara and the other to Mr. Wike. Both have declared the seats of their opposition vacant. Mr. Yakubu explained that contradictory court decisions at both state and federal levels have left INEC unsure of which group holds legitimate authority in their assembly, complicating any immediate action. Yakubu said the 25 seats of members of the Rivers State House of Assembly were declared vacant by 3 other members. The 25 members also declared the seats of the 3 vacant, he said. After that, there was a court judgment from the Rivers State High Court as well as the Federal High Court on the legitimacy of each of these groups of lawmakers. We at INEC have been following the developments. We do not know what will happen next, and so we are seeking the views of Nigerians, especially legal experts, on this. Mr. Yakubu also disclosed plans to conduct by-elections for other vacant legislative seats. He said the commission is considering December for the House of Representatives and House of Assembly positions left vacant on account of deaths. What do you make of this story and the position of INEC on Rivers State House of Assembly crisis, George?
Yeah, Lawrence, I understand the difficulty that INEC is facing, given that INEC is a public institution that is bound by the laws of this country. So with court orders and judgment coming from, two court of coordinate jurisdiction, the INEC as an institution is a bit confused. They might, accept a court order for Party A as against Party B, and tomorrow it happens that, in fact, they are in a confused state. So what they have done is to allow time to pass. Probably the finality of this matter will get to Supreme Court, and that will be the one that INEC will respond to. So, but this also, brings me back to what the NJC, Nigeria Judicial Commission, is doing. You cannot have, judiciary is one in Nigeria. They have different layers, different stages and all of that, But judiciary is one, headed by, the Chief Justice of the Federation. They have different, bodies and all of that makes up judiciary. What are they doing, to a kind of bringing sanity to the profession of, judicial officers? What are they doing? People of the same coordinate jurisdiction will give different interpretation, in a particular matter. This obviously shows that, some of the judicial officers, are damning the consequences, probably, doing what they feel is right, that was influenced by whatever. So I think a body like NJC should discipline some of these people who has gone against the provisions of the law to give some kind of orders, frivolous orders and judgment. So for INEC, I think they are in order. They should wait. Asking to seek legal expert from Nigerians is a waste of time. They should have known, because Nigerians are polarized. When issues comes up, you see those for and those against. So if you are asking for Nigerians, it's going to cause more confusion. The matter will get up to Supreme Court that will give the final judgment on the matter. So that is what INEC will abide by. Asking Nigerians to give their legal expert is wasting of time, because people will come to twist. If the judges who are in the temple of justice, who are supposed to do the right thing, are giving conflicting judgment, what do you expect Nigerians who are legal experts to do? They definitely give you based on what they feel, which also will be conflicting. So for me, Mahmoud should come down and allow the matter to get. It's already in the Supreme Court. Any moment from now, they will give their verdict on the matter. So that should be what INEC, will hinge on to, carry out what is necessary.
Right. Now, when you're saying that is what INEC will hinge on to carry out these elections, so probably the Supreme Court's judgment, I think the one that the governor has appealed, the last appeal court judgment, the one that he has appealed will, to a large extent, determine, is that what you're saying, that to a large extent it will determine the position of who the authentic House of Assembly is in Rivers State? Is that what you're saying? So if the Supreme Court rules, because now this issue is directly tied to the budget, so if the Supreme Court rules for or against the appeal of the governor, it goes a long way to determine who the authentic House of Assembly is.
Of course, I think that will be the final position. Every other matters that are attached are just there. The major thing is this one that the governor of Rivers State has appealed up to Supreme Court level. That matter from the High Court, Justice Omososho affirmed that Martins Amehule is the authentic speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly. And the other ones, that is the 26 other members, are authentic members of the House. The governor appealed the matter, and when he got to Appeal Court affirmed what Justice Omososho has delivered, that Martins Amehule is the authentic speaker. That same matter has been appealed up to Supreme Court. So if the Supreme Court affirms what the lower and the trial court and the appellate court has done, it means that INEC do not have any other reason not to comply with the Supreme Court position. So that will be the finality of it. Every other matter does not really, count. It
appears that a lot of this Rivers State, a lot of the crisis we are facing in Rivers State now, from the angle of the legislature to executive and to local government as well, it appears that a lot is hinging on this Supreme Court judgment to a large extent to settle or answer a lot of questions.
Obviously. Yes. But like I said, we have different stages. When it comes to the court, we have the trial courts. In this case now, that is the Federal High Court, because the State High Court do not have jurisdiction over the matter. The trial court is the Federal High Court. Then you have the appellate court, which is the appeal. And these two stages have been crossed. So the final one now is the Supreme Court. Normally, when you lose the case and you're not satisfied at the trial court, you have the right to appeal. When you appeal, you are still not satisfied. You still have the right to go further to Supreme Court for final interpretation of the matter. After Supreme Court delivers a judgment, and if you are still not satisfied, you can try God for a review of the matter. So Supreme Court is the final arbiter of this matter. The governor and his people have lost from the trial court to the appellate court. So they are now at the Supreme Court. Once Supreme Court delivers the judgment for Martins Amehule and group as authentic members and the Speaker of Rivers State House of Assembly, the agency INEC will not have to begin to talk about conflicting judgment, because that is the final, that is the apex of the judiciary. So for now, I will tell them not to bother themselves by seeking for expert opinions from Nigerians, legal experts. No need, because that will further compound the issue. People will speak for and against.
All right.
So they should wait for the final matter from Supreme Court.
All right. All Progressive Congress has advised the Rivers State Governor, Siminalayi Fubara, to stop his continuous blackmail of President Bola Tinubu if the Federal Capital Territory, FCT Minister Nyesom Wike, and the judiciary over the recent judgment stopping allocation to the state, saying sentiments can never trump facts in the face of the law. Caretaker committee of the party in Rivers State, StarTimes, who spoke at a news conference on Friday in Abuja, said Fubara's attempt at blackmail will not save his sinking political career. Okocha also described Fubara as Nyesom Wike's investment, adding that Wike practically lifted the governor from political obscurity. He said, Wike brought Fubara to where he is today. He lifted him from obscurity to political crescendo. Nobody is suffocating anybody. The fight in Rivers State is between Sim Fubara and Sim Fubara. According to him, the political crisis in Rivers State would have ended if Governor Fubara had obeyed President Tinubu's intervention. When asked for the way out, the APC caretaker chairman said, the governor must obey the law of the land, including the law regarding budget of a state. He said, as a political party, the All Progressive Congress will stand with and by the judgment of the court because it is what will hold sway in the civil society. It is the court, not one man's morality. We are also using this opportunity to speak against the attempts to disparage innocent persons, namely Nyesom Wike, the FCT minister. In all the cases in court, there are about 2 cases in which he is not a party to any. Why bring in the president also? He queried. On the recent attempt by some stakeholders and elders in the Niger Delta to reconcile the gladiators in Rivers crisis, Okocha said such move was already belated. He said, I say it is foolishness for anyone to cry when the head is off. There is also this aphorism that you don't cry over a spilled milk. Where have these elders been? Where? The matter is narrowing down, if you ask me, because the only other hurdle to escape is the Supreme Court. What are the elders coming to do at this late hour, if they actually would want to come? What are they coming to do? They are the same people who told the governor that you are a know-all and do-all. They encouraged the governor to believe that his head was bigger than his pillow. They were the ones, they told him, look, your powers are elastic. What can you not do? And the governor agreed to that, and today the inquiry man tells you that not everybody that comes to plan your building will be part of the building. No, a lot of them have disappeared into thin air. At the time, they came to counsel the governor against the decision that he signed to. And the governor is on the hot seat. So to say to you that I don't see that working is way, way too late. But I wish we want peace. Simple thing. See, the only way to bring peace is to follow the law. George,
yeah,
you were nodding your head vigorously while I was reading this story. I don't see. And he said 2 major things. First of all, he accused the governor of blackmailing the president, the FCT minister, and the judiciary. That's on one hand. And he also said that it was too late for anything to be done. And from Tony Okocha's statement, it is clear that he holds the view that political solution to this crisis is belated for political solution. And he also took a swipe at PANDEF. You know, because PANDEF, led by Chief Edwin Clark, has been very vocal at the early stage of the conflict, even towards the late stage of the conflict. And he has been very vocal against the FCT minister, and he has written several letters to the president calling for the sack of the FCT minister, calling for the FCT minister to be called to order. He has said so many things. And now the same PANDEF wants a reconciliation. And I have asked more than once, do you see that happening? So I want you to periscope into the different issues that Tony Okocha raised and also addressed during his press conference.
Well, the position that Chief Tony Okocha took is exactly, what every right-thinking Rivers man who understands the challenges that has, bedevilled the state from last year, October, to this day, would take. We all called for political solution because we knew that when the matter becomes a legal solution, it becomes a winner takes it all. But political solution is a give and take thing. You compromise, you shift position, shift ground. At the end of the day, it becomes a win-win for all parties. So when the matter became so heated, it became, an opportunity for some elders to reach out, including the governor himself. And they went to the presidency. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu drafted that peace pact, and they all signed. The governor was the first person to even sign. And when he came back, he said there was nothing too much for peace. There's nothing too much to give as long as peace will reign. Which people who felt that, okay, he actually was in to ensure that there is peace in Rivers State. But along the line, these same elders who I call the enemies of Rivers State, were the ones that reached out to him and made him to realize that, like Tony Okocha said, his head is bigger than the pillow. They felt he, as the governor, he has a lot of enormous powers. He has a lot of powers that, he can do and undo and things like that. So that is what has kept this state where it is today. Because the governor has refused to abide by court orders. He has refused to implement court judgments. He felt that because he has immunity, he can do anything. In fact, that Rivers State, as one of the federating units of Nigeria, is like an entity that can govern itself without any interference from anywhere. So he felt as the governor, he was all and all. Today, with the different court judgments that keep coming, it has become so apparent to everybody, right-thinking people, that the governor is sinking. The same people who we are massaging his egos are now the ones calling for political solution. I mean, you don't cry over a speed make. One of my bosses then, these days when I was growing up, would tell me, if you want to take any action, first weigh the consequences that will come from that actions. If it is something you can bear, please, with all intent and purposes, go into it fully. So that when the thing backfires, when the consequences come, you would have told yourself that you knew that this is what will come, and you'll be able to carry it. And you carry it without, involving others. If it is something you cannot bear, please do not engage. So it's unfortunate that, our governor felt that he was all and all, and today these same men who led him astray are the ones coming to do what? The matter has crossed the Rubicon. At the point where it is now, it is for Supreme Court to rule. A winner takes it all. If Supreme Court rules to say that Governor Fubara and his assemblymen and all what he has been doing is right, so be it. Let him take charge and run his government. If they rule otherwise too, of course, at that point, he will not have any other thing to say, I cannot implement, because it is no longer his, position to implement or not. So, coming back to what Tony Okocha has said here, is written. At this point, there's no more negotiation of solution. Who even brokered this peace? The presidency that did earlier before now, and you tore it into shreds as if it doesn't make any meaning. You want to go back there? Or who? The same elders who, when this matter came up, felt that Fubara, the governor, should just eliminate Wike completely, eliminate politically. That's what I mean. So that's because it has not happened that way. How do they have the moral rectitude to go meet, trying to see how they can reconcile these two brothers? It's no longer working. It's not tenable anymore. It is for the court to decide, and once the court decides, because whether you like it or not, the decision of the court will be so landmark that it will become a reference point tomorrow. So at this point, you cannot withdraw this matter. The court should give a judgment so that tomorrow a governor can not come to say, okay, I'm the all and all. If you do not, the truth is Nigerian politicians need to follow the law. If the governor had followed the law from the beginning, we will not be here. We will not be here. Sometimes you can make a mistake, and you find out that if you allow this thing to fester, to be exhausted in the law course, it will be against me and it will be worrisome. You can call for political solution. You can call for out-of-court settlement. I know I've heard here. You too, see where you do this. Let's see how we can reconcile our differences. It's a give and take thing. And the matter will die a natural death. Because it is, if you don't take anything to court, the court will not have anything to decide on. The court is there waiting for you to bring. If you don't bring anything, any matter before them, they will not adjudicate on it. So, but because the matter has reached this level, and if you knew all this while, a lot of things have happened. A lot of water have crossed under the bridge, where I will not say the governor commissioned, but those who are attached to him, those who are working for him, who are supporting him, have, turned the minister of the FCT into ridicule. They have ridiculed the man to the point where even if he wanted to say, okay, let's shed these things and see how we can, it will not become difficult. That is the level it has gotten to. So at this point, let the law take its course. We are waiting for the Supreme Court to do justice to the matter, and whatever verdict they come up with, of course, we don't even have a choice to accept it.
Now, at this point, now you are resting everything on the angle. You are taking Tony Okocha's side in this. You're siding Tony Okocha's argument that political solution is belated.
Of course, it is. It is. Look at the different stages. People have suffered for this past period when this matter, has been raging. People keep suffering. People's salary were withheld. People's allocation were withheld. A whole lot of things happened.
The 27 lawmakers whose salaries have been withheld for 1
year.
For
over 1 year. Have you bothered to ask how they have been managing? Not only salaries, the kind of things that may have been happening to those people. I mean, for some of them to still be alive today, we give glory to God. So a whole lot has happened. We had time, ample time to, nip this in the bud. We had an ample time. And God so kind, it happened. Unfortunately, the same enemies of state, the same people who felt that the minister was high-handed and therefore he should be eliminated politically, were the ones pushing the governor. They were there pushing the governor. And they also listened to them, acting on whatever advice they gave to him. Today, you expect anybody to call for political solution. Who will call for this? Is it me or you? Who will call for this political solution?
Now, the thing is, let's look at the body language of the governor for a minute. Because now, it's one thing calls have been made severally for political solution. The question would be, from the body language of the governor, do you see the governor as somebody that want political solution at this point? Because Okojombo, I think yesterday, even came out to make fresh calls for INEC to conduct elections to fill the seats of the 27 lawmakers. That was just yesterday. That's on one hand. The Commissioner for Budgets and Planning, Professor Peter Mede, has also come out to say that anybody thinking that the 2024 budget will be presented to Martin Samehule is living in illusion, right? And he said that the government will not do that. And he built his argument on the fact that this budget has almost expanded its lifespan. It's in the final stages, right? And most of the...
was perdition. But those same persons, and those, in crisis situation, there are people who benefit immensely from it. And once that crisis ends, their benefit stops. So they would not want their benefit to stop. They keep cooking. They keep coming up with things. So, but the finality of this matter is the Supreme Court. Frankly speaking, if the governor appears to be a man who actually wanted, peace, who actually wanted to resolve this matter out of the court, even after the failed peace pact by the president, that he failed to implement major part of it, which is the reason why...
Well, his argument was that the peace pact was
not constitutional.
It was not constitutional, so you can't force him to implement what he doesn't want to. And that argument is very valid.
Good. It's very valid, but look at where we are today. It can be valid when you're on the side of the law, my dear. If you're on the side of the law, and because the political solution, the peace pact, is not constitutional, it's not that you can decide whether to accept or not. But that also shows that he's not a gentleman. Why did he sign? Since it's not valid. He appended his signature. He knew that it was not valid. He could have said, okay, I will not sign this. It is at my own discretion to implement or not. He signed. For you to have signed, endorsed anything, what that means is that you've put in everything you have into it. He came back after signing to say where it is at his discretion to implement or not. Fine and good. It's not constitutional. But he forgot that he was not on the side of the law. He was deceived. He was deceived.
But the governor said he was shot in the foot. He was ambushed, if I may use this word.
Who ambushed him?
He said he was ambushed by the other, the warring faction, the people he is having issues with. Because he said that, you know, he trusted in the Peace Pact. He had implemented some, even withdrew his counter affidavit in court. And after he withdrew his counter affidavit in court, Martins Amehule and others did not withdraw their suit. And that led to Justice Omotosho giving judgment, you know, in favor of Martins Amehule because the governor had waived his rights over that matter by withdrawing his counter affidavit.
Let me tell you something. The Presidential Peace Pact had about, I think, 8 items on it. Some of it was for. The others were against, either for governor or for the assembly members. Now, they asked the governor to withdraw, in fact, all the parties to withdraw their legal, whatever matter they have in court that are bordering on that. They all agreed to that. They asked the governor to re-represent the budget, which means that if he has done that, he would have recognized by his action that the Martin Amehule-led Rivers State House of Assembly is the authentic assembly. They asked the assembly to withdraw the impeachment notice. The assembly did by withdrawing the impeachment notice. Like, this is a game of chess. If they had, with an open mind, to withdraw all the court case, look at what the governor would have done by saying that the Peace Pact is unconstitutional. It is at his discretion to either honor it or not. So imagine they have withdrawn that suit from Justice Omotosho's court. What would have happened? Just tell me what would have happened today. They would have no case. They would have no case. And the man would have used them the way he likes. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. They withdrew the impeachment notice to show that, okay, we abide by what the president has, you know, brokered. The governor readmitted those who resigned. That is the commissioner who resigned from his government. He reappointed them into office. He went and withdrew his counter affidavit on the matter before Justice Omotosho. This man withdrew the impeachment notice on him. Now, re-represent the body. I'm not.
For the governor?
No, for anybody who finds himself in that kind of a position. You had every opportunity to resolve the matter. By now, you would have seamless, you know, governance. He's a fortunate person. He's so lucky, you know, to become the governor of Rivers State at the time he became. He would have become one of the best also if this crisis did not come up. That is my understanding of the kind of person. But unfortunately, he listened to people who never meant well, who, because of, you know, their hatred for one man, it beclouded their senses of judgment for them not to understand what the issues are. And they misled the governor and led him astray. Today, look at where we are. I pray. I really pray. I pray.
What is your prayer?
Let me just hang it there. Let me not say much.
All right. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we continue. Do not go away.
It's not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence. To conduct this are proper to lead of this minister and the
Give us access to our money we put in charge.
I've always said there are 2 sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites, which I am.
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act, I prophet to be the lead of this minister and the prophet.
As always said, there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the coward and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act, I prophet to be the lead of this minister and the prophet.
Give us access to our money we pay in charge.
As always said, there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the coward and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
The people of Maiduguri need your help. A catastrophic flood has engulfed the city, leaving over 1 million residents stranded and fighting for survival. Entire communities are submerged, with people trapped inside homes and on rooftops cut off from food, clean drinking water and essential supplies. Health experts are warning of a potential outbreak of deadly diseases, and medical facilities are out of commission. The situation is dire. Helicopters, boats and high-riding trucks capable of navigating the treacherous, waterlogged areas are urgently required to reach the countless men, women and children still awaiting rescue. The Nigerian media is issuing a desperate plea to the government, humanitarian organizations, international actors and citizens across the nation. Step in now, before it's too late. For more information on how you can help, contact Professor Usman A. Tar, the Honorable Commissioner for Information and Internal Security, Borno State, on 0809-233-3955. Every second counts.
This is powered by Atlantic Television Network.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act, I prophet to be the lead of this minister and the prophet.
Give us access to our money we pay in charge.
As always said, there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the coward and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence. To condemn this act, I propose immediate release of this minister.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Ruling Labour Party in Abia State lost in the local government election as a little-known Zenith Labour Party swept 15 of the 17 local government areas in November 2nd council poll in the state. Meanwhile, the Young Progressive Party clinched the remaining 2 local government areas, Ugunabo and Osisiomangwa. The results were announced by the chairman, Abia State Independent Electoral Commission, Professor Chima George, on Saturday night at the APSEC headquarters, Umuahia. He said, "We have fulfilled the duty we were inaugurated on 5th September to carry out. It wasn't an easy task, but we went beyond and above to raise awareness about the election across the state," he said. The election was marred by voter apathy, although it was generally peaceful. George, what do you make of the? I mean, this is serious news, considering what is going on in local government elections across the states, where the ruling party sweeps the entire local government councillorship and chairmanship seats. In this instance, Labour Party, the ruling Labour Party in Abia State, did not clinch 1 seat. What do you have to say to that?
It is the same thing with what we have here in Rivers State, where the governor who is of the PDP and the PDP, they didn't participate, never got anything. So you have the Gogongo Party, that is
the APP.
The APP.
Why do you call
party,
them the Gogongo
because
Party?
of the elephant.
Oh, okay.
That was what we saw here in Rivers State. For me, I think that what happened in Abia State is the fraction in Labour Party. The challenge in Labour Party has led to, the governor switching camp. His core supporters to Zenith Labour Party, which appears to be like Labour Party also. The difference there is the Zenith. You recall that it was Dan Wanyang that formed the Zenith Labour Party. He was the Labour Party's chairman before. During when Olusegun Mimiko won the Eunde State governorship with Labour Party. So issues came up. Dan Wanyang left, Barrister Dan Wanyang left and formed the Zenith Labour Party with other people, to still have some kind of semblance with Labour Party. So with the crisis rocking the Labour Party at the national level, Abure led this and that, all these issues have affected the party, even at the state and the local government level.
Not forgetting that Alex Oti was the one that masterminded.
So these are the issues.
The enlarged stakeholder meeting that brought in Nadi Osman.
Yes. So that issue continued to rock the party. In order not to have some kind of impediment, what Alex Oti has done is to shift the structure. Structure is about human being, and the political party is the vehicle through which you get to your political destination. So what they have done is as if the Labour Party is having some crisis, impediments here and there. Wait, let's move the people who are the structures into Zenith Labour Party. It's just a process of achieving the.
While we wait to see whether this
the outcome of the outcome of the crisis at the end of the day. So that is what played that. Then, because Nigerians over time have seen that the governor of a state appears to be in control, because the state election management body is always under the control of the executive governor of the state. So most often, the party of the governor appears to win all the seats, both for councillorship and the local government chairman. So what they have done in this recent election, not just here, in many states, except for a few states where the ruling party won 100 over 100. You understand? In some states, what they did was to allot. It was not.
One state was allotted to the local government of Akpabio.
So, like in Akwa Ibom, one of the local government
allotted.
That whether you use the word allotted, it was a kind of negotiation. You take this, leave this for me.
Were you there when they negotiated?
No, that is what actually plays out. Because the people, on the day of election in Rivers State, I was here in your studio. We were monitoring, we were getting feedback on how many of those polling stations did you see people voting. In some stations, nobody came out to vote, nothing happened, but results were allocated. So it was no normal thing they do, sit down somewhere, allocate resort to wherever and make announcements. Because most often, even if you challenge it, you can't get anything. So here in Rivers State, they gave the APP party, out of 23 local government, they gave them 22 and gave Action Alliance 1 in Eche. Right there in Eche, the same person they gave, the person that was supposed to, he was nominated as his vice. It was a joint ticket. Few hours to inauguration, they dropped the vice and brought on that person. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yes.
In Eche, the same seat that was given to Action Alliance, they gave them 1. The APP took 22. The one they gave to the Eche chairman, his vice that they contested the election together with, was dropped few hours to inauguration, and another person who did not contest the election was sworn in as the vice chairman of the council. So what am I saying? The crisis in Labour Party could be the reason why the governor have moved. So when I see people say Labour really in a heavy defeat in Abia State, I laughed over the matter. It is still the same Labour Party. The difference is just that. Yeah.
All right.
That is just the difference, nothing much.
All right.
It does mean you are saying if the Labour Party eventually, reconcile their differences tomorrow,
they might
defect and come back to the original. They are the same people.
Okay, so probably that is the governor shifting the structure and trying to just watch and see what they are,
outcome of the
considering
crisis,
that the court judgment is backing the return of Abure. And you recall recently the South Vice Chairman was arrested, because the Labour Party in Abia State had a meeting that the South Vice Chairman was present. Sorry, the Southeast Vice Chairman was present. And the governor was unaware of it. And some gunmen came, arrested the Labour Party chairman in Abia State and the Southeast Vice Chairman. And they were saying the order was from above. And much later, they said that arrest was made. There were allegations that that arrest was made by the governor. So one could see that why would the Labour Party even hold a meeting in the state without letting Alex Oti, who is the highest ranking officer of the party in the state, know? That's on one hand. But one could also see the interference of the national now playing out in Abia State. So you are saying that building on this, that could inform the governor's decision.
The reason for the governor to have pitched tent with a party that also appears to be like, Labour Party.
All right.
So that the voters and, in fact, they are working hand in hand.
Just in case if issues are reconciled, these people can defect back
with immediate effect. We'll go back to the original structure.
Interesting. Former Kano State Governor and presidential candidate of the New Nigeria People's Party in 2023, Rabiu Kwakwanso, has expressed displeasure and criticized the belt conditions imposed on the bad governance protesters. He stated that the arraignment of such a large number of minors is highly unusual and undermines the fundamental principles of human rights and dignity. In a statement posted on his X account on Friday, Kwakwanso emphasized the malnourished state of the minors and the urgent need for medical attention. He said, "I am shocked by the arraignment of 67 minors by the Nigeria Police Force at a court in Abuja for alleged participation in the End Bad Governance protest. These children, who are obviously malnourished and need medical attention, have been subjected to a cruel experience when they should be in school. The arraignment of such number of minors in their states is highly unusual and negates every tenet of the protection of human rights and dignity. As leaders, it is our duty to protect the most vulnerable among us, particularly children, women, old, and the needy. The government should not be at the forefront of this violation. I am particularly appalled by the stringent conditions set for their release. It is absurd that a teenager is ordered to source for 10 million naira and a grade 15 civil servant for bail. The Child Rights Act 2003, Section 11, protects the dignity of every child and protects them from any physical, mental, or emotional injury, abuse, neglect, or maltreatment. He also urged the federal government to focus on tackling issues such as banditry, kidnapping, Boko Haram, unstable electricity, and harsh economic policies instead of incarcerating children. Judge, what do you have to say about this story?
Lawrence, one would have thought that the court is a juvenile court. If it is a juvenile court, I will not have an issue with it, because the juvenile court will be there to correct. You know, it's like more of a correctional facility, not, you know, to weed the
big stick.
You know, but if this is a regular court, it's quite unheard of, you know, that a minor will be arraigned in the court. A minor which, for we expect, we see them like people who do not understand what the issues are, what the positions of the law is. So they are not supposed to be arraigned. It's unfortunate, like Kwakwaso is saying there. The bail condition is also stringent. You know, we have to expect most of these children are people who are indigent human beings that didn't have anything going for them. If they have people who are well-to-do, who are taking care of them, they may not have, you know, taken part in that protest in the first place. Some of these people appears to be like the Amajiri, so to speak, you know, who do not have anybody. So it was like something happened in the street, and the next thing you see people joining just to take part, even without knowing the reason why they are, you know, carrying out that protest. So one would have thought that the government, the Nigerian police force, will understand this and see how they can acquit those children. I want to join. This matter has a kind of attracted some kind of, it has attracted a barrage of you know, abuses on the federal government, you know, from Nigerians through the social media. People have been complaining, and I want to join them to condemn what the police have done. Looking at the picture here now, I've just seen people who actually are minors. You know, they are actually minors. Although some of them have been over 18 years, which is adult age, but some, looking at them, there is no way they can convince me that those ones I saw there are above 18. So
well, the Attorney General, he came out to say that, if I may quote him, he said, these boys are not, he said some of these boys are married men. And the question I asked was, if you say they are boys, if in the first instance you call them boys, it means that you just mentioned, you gave them the adequate description by calling them boys. When you say these boys are married men, if they are married men, you cannot call a mature man. It's just like someone coming out to tell you, say, George, refer you as a boy, and then call you a married man. You know, it's ironical, or I say paradoxical in a sense. So even that statement, to a large extent, one would wonder, how are they, these children that people, well, how are they married? If they say these boys are married men and they are underage and married, then to a large extent, that state should be investigated, because how is an underage boy married?
You know, what I will say here is that sometimes when issues comes up, people look for every means, no matter how frivolous, to defend it. You know, maybe the Attorney General and the Nigerian police force never expected this kind of backlash from the Nigerian people. They were thinking that because they arrested, you know, people who wanted to disrupt the government, so that Nigerian people might be happy. If they were adults, you will not see me supporting that they should be acquitted. You will not see me asking for juvenile court, which is more like a correctional facility, you know, to, you know, groom these children, tell them what is right and what is wrong, not to engage in what is wrong and things like that. But these are clearly children from the pictures we are seeing. So they, in general, for me, may be thinking of how to, you know, use some kind of language.
Let's even look at the bail condition for a minute. Let's look at the bail condition. Grade 15 civil servants, 10 million naira.
That is outrageous.
For hunger, like when you look at them, you can tell these children are hunger stricken. You can tell the background they are coming from, the level of poverty. And yet, In an interesting twist of events, side by side, a House of Rep member, Ikweche, member representing Abia North, Ikweche, was accused of attacking an e-hailing driver. And Ikweche was granted bail of 500,000 naira. 500,000 naira as against protesters. 10 million naira. Well, one would say this is one could say this one it has to do with battery or assault. He was arraigned on the ground of assault. This one, another argument could be this is treason. But when you look at these two, between the two,
that is exactly the angle I want to comment on.
All right, go ahead.
The law has no emotion. The only challenge we have here is that these people are minors. So ordinarily, it should be a juvenile court trying them, trying to correct them, trying to groom them in a way that they will be better citizens tomorrow. If they were adults, I will not be here agreeing with other people and you or any other person to say that the stringent bail condition given to Ikweche and these other people, I will not, because these are clearly different matter. Ikweche one has to do with assault on an adult. This one has to do with treason against the country. It's a very serious offense. But the only thing that is making us to be emotional is because of the age of the children. If they were adults of my age, I will not be here to support them. Frankly, I will not.
Where will a child raise 10 million naira?
That is where I'm coming to support you to say that the bail condition is stringent.
See the technicality here is...
They are hinging on the fact that it's reasonable offense, which may be standard across board. It may be standard if you commit any treason.
The judge gives you bail conditions at his or her own discretion. But I'm looking at the technicality. Probably you don't want to release someone and you put a bail condition that you know it is inhuman and there is no possibility of that person meeting up with that bail condition. And probably that could even explain why a lot of inmates awaiting trial are there, because bail conditions that cannot be met are being placed on them.
In other words, what you're trying to let us know here is that there are vested
Not what I'm trying to let you know.
There are vested interests.
I never said vested interests.
If there are no vested, why would the judge, like you said, it is at the discretion of the judge to give bail conditions. So if the judge, as a human being, saying that these children are minors,
and probably they have not...
they do not even have anybody. These are people who ordinarily were hungry on the street and saw people protesting and joined. Unfortunately, they were caught. So why would the judge give them a string if there's no unseen hand anywhere trying to, make things difficult? Like you said, it could be that they didn't want them to be released. Because I see no reason why a judge would want to give such a... For me, I understand that there is a level of crime that you commit. The bail condition can never be 1 naira. It will be so difficult that anybody who is coming will want to stake his or her neck for you. Before that person does that, the person will have something in the case where the thing did not go the other way, will lose something very real. So that's my understanding of it.
All right. Thank you so much, Judge, for coming on Open Air this morning. It's always a pleasure having you.
You're always welcome.
Thank you. This is where we wrap it up on this episode of Open Air. Thank you so much, our viewers, for always tuning in to watch us. We are open for advert placements, bookings, and commercials. You can connect with us on all our ATN socials. Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network. Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1. And on Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. Do not forget, we are pathways to progress. Thank you for watching. See you soon.
I've always said there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites, which I...
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.